What's up, YouTube? Before I get into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for checking out the video this week or today. Um, Bear with me, I'm still kind of getting used to being behind or in front of the camera and kind of expelling my thoughts onto the video. But if you have any tips or any tricks or anything, please let me know down in the comments. And I appreciate you guys checking out the video and all the people that have been subscribing and liking and commenting. I really appreciate it, and it really motivates me to get even better at doing these YouTube videos. So without further ado, here's the video, and I hope you enjoy it. What's up, YouTube? Slim here, bringing you another video. And today's video, what I wanted to do was show you how I prepare for my leopard gecko breeding season. I kind of already have a video of from start to finish. You can actually see the pairing, and then when they lay the eggs, and then when the eggs hatch, if you want to check that out. But I kind of wanted to give a more in-depth view since this year I'm a little bit late on my season. But I just wanted to give you a more detailed overview of what I do before I even pair the geckos. There's a couple things you want to focus on the most. And the first thing is the food and how much you feed them. So before you put the geckos together, before you cool them down or anything, I always feed them extra amount of food. I give them unlimited mealworms. I also buy a bunch of super worms. I also have crickets, dubia roaches, and these two blue tops. And I feed the crap out of them. I feed them as much as they will eat. I give them unlimited mealworms 24/7. I usually do this maybe a month or two before I know I'm going to cool them down. That way they get all the extra fat reserves in their tail, and they get they just put on more weight, lay more eggs, healthier for the gecko, the mom gecko, like this girl. So yeah, you want to pretty much feed them as much as they will eat before you essentially stop feeding them to cool them down. So that is probably one of the most important things, is you want to make sure they're nice and healthy. They're nice and fat, not fat, but you want their tail to be fat so they have all the nutrients and calcium. So yeah, you literally just want to feed them as much as they can so they can grow as much as they can, before you stop feeding them. The second thing is, which is super important, which is you can kind of see it in this bowl here. The white powder, it's a mix between calcium and vitamin powder. I usually buy one full jar of calcium powder, and then I buy a full thing of vitamin powder, and then I literally just put them in a dish and mix it. I usually do a little bit more calcium than vitamins, because they really need the calcium to build the eggs. Because pretty much the egg is just the shell is pretty much calcium. So I literally put it in the dish here. Which I don't have yet, I usually have another dish that I put just calcium in, no worms, nothing, just the calcium and vitamin powder. Like I said, this is super important, pretty much for the same reason that you have to feed them a lot before. That way they get all the nutrients, all the vitamins, calciums, all the other stuff that they need to lay a lot of eggs and healthy eggs and keep the mom healthy. A lot of issues is people will breed a gecko and the female will be either underweight or just that weight, or maybe she's old enough but they don't feed them a lot, and you get egg bound easy. They could just stop laying eggs altogether. All the eggs might be bad. It's just not a good look. So you want to make sure you have plenty of vitamin and calcium powder. Now also, when I feed crickets, super worms, or the dubias, I also dust them with calcium and vitamin powder, just so they get even extra, and it's guaranteed that they're getting some in their system. Technically right now this girl would be fine to cool down. She's been eating all year. She's never bred in her life yet. She's about 3 years old. 100% healthy. Nice fat tail, as you can see. She got some good body on her. She's old enough. She's long. She's never bred. She's 3, so I like to wait and make sure they're definitely big enough. I haven't weighed them yet before the breeding season, but she's probably at 65, 70 grams. She's pretty big. And the last reason, which I pretty much went over, but you really want to give them all the vitamins and calcium, because they use a lot of nutrients once they lay their eggs. So you see her now, she's all nice, healthy and everything. After she's done breeding, she laid all her eggs for the year, she's gonna be a lot skinnier. She's gonna have a lot less energy. And she's just going to sleep and get her energy back up, eat, and everything. So that's why you want to make sure you give all the nutrients you can before you even pair them, so you don't have nothing to worry about as far as the babies and mom goes. Um, so after you do that, and first I actually want to apologize. My nose is so stuffy. I think I have a sinus infection. But I want to kind of just pull through this video here. Hopefully you guys can still understand me. Um, so yeah, after you feed them, make sure they have all the food and the nutrients and they're nice, fat, and healthy. You do that for maybe a month or two. You know, obviously you should be feeding them and giving them calcium powder and stuff throughout the whole year anyway, but this is where I kind of just step it up and make sure they definitely have it all as much as they could use. After you do all that, you do the cool down period. This is kind of optional, I guess. Some people don't do it at all. Some people say you have to cool down. Some people say to cool down by a lot of degrees. Some people say you only gotta do it by like 5 degrees. I'm just gonna tell you what I do. So what I do to cool down is go through the process of what I just explained again, food and vitamins and calcium. Once I see that they're eaten, they're done, I pull their food out. I make sure that there's no food in the cage at all. And then I'll wait about a week or two and I make sure that her cage is nice and dirty, that there's poop and urates everywhere. You know, I make sure that she's expending all the, extra nutrients and stuff. Make sure she's pooping a lot. Now, since you don't have the food in and she's pooping a lot now, that means she's getting all the stuff out of her system. Um, since I took the worms out, you take it out. So there's no food left in the cage for her to eat. And then this is when you cool down the temperatures. I cool it down about 10 degrees, so it's usually about 90 degrees, 88 to 90 degrees on the hot spot here. I turn the temperature down 10 degrees, so it probably end up at like 80, 85 around here. Or sorry, 75 to 80, which isn't too cold, but it's cold enough for the body to understand that it's getting colder out. It's colder, and this is where you want to make sure that they don't have any food in their systems, because reptiles and leopard geckos, they use the heat to digest all their food, to poop and digest the food, get all the nutrients they need out of it. So you want to make sure there's nothing left in her system, because once you cool it down, she's not getting as much heat. She's not going to be able to digest as well. Why are you trying to escape? Come here. I'm trying to do a video here. So yeah, so I cool it down. You don't feed them. And then it might sound scary that they're not eating, but trust me, once they're cooled down, their body moves a little bit slower. They don't need as much food. They're going to be sleeping the most time. The only thing I do in the cool down period is I open up the cage maybe every 2 or 3 days. I check the gecko, make sure that he or she is fine, and I give him fresh water. I do keep water in the tank, and I do make sure it's fresh every day or every couple of days. I don't do it every day because I don't want to disturb her too much while she's in her little cool down hibernation period. And I let them be. I let them be like that for about a month. So they're cooling down, they're not eating, they're just getting water, they're probably barely moving for about a month. Some people do longer, some people do shorter. Like I said, some people don't do it at all. This is just how I personally do it and what's worked for me. Now, so now I've cooled down. You got the cool down period. You're waiting a month, you're excited, you're not feeding her, you're seeing the poop before you cool them down. Now it's been about a month, you think it's okay, I've cooled them down for long enough, and it's time to do, the actual breeding season. So after I cool them down, I slowly put the thermostat back up. So let's say it's set to 80 degrees, just say 80 or 90 degrees. I actually cut myself off before I start. Just because this says 99.3 degrees, it is not 99.3 degrees in the tub. I want to clarify that. The heat tape is at 99 degrees, but throughout the thick plastic and the paper towels and the moisture and everything, the hot spot is a lot less cooler than 99 degrees. So I want to get that out of the way. Now I got it out of the way, I slowly increase the temperatures back up, maybe about 3 to 5 degrees per day or two. I slowly do it, that way they don't get the shock of going from, 10 to 20 degree difference from, Yeah, I mean, to get them up to back to temperature nice and slow. You don't gotta do it right away. There's no rush into doing it. You want to make sure they're nice and healthy while you increase the temperatures. So after I increase the temperatures, either from like 2 to 5 degrees each day, till you're back up to temperature that you originally were at, where you usually keep them. I I don't feed them. I just keep them in the tank for maybe about a week without any food still, just getting them warmed up. They'll probably get any of the extra, poop or pee, whatever, out of their system if they had any from the cool down period. Since it's warming up, they'll digest a little bit better. Now, after that week is over, I see she's warmed back up, she's moving around, she's drinking, maybe going in her hide box, doing her thing. Then I'll start feeding. I feed just as heavy as I did before I cooled them down. So I want same thing with the vitamins and the calcium powder and the mealworms and dubia roaches and everything else. Do the same exact thing. It's repeat the process after they're warmed back up. This way they're getting all their food. They're going to be hungry after a month of not eating. They get their food in the system. They start building back up. If they've lost any weight from the month, which I doubt they will if you do it right and feed them enough, and I'll start feeding them again with the vitamin calcium powder. I feed them a lot. Because essentially at this point, after you've cooled down, you warm them back up, and they're eating again, they're essentially now ready to breed. Technically, some females or males won't breed for whatever reason, but if you do it right, most likely they will. They will breed for you. So the reason I feed a lot after is for the same reason why I feed a lot before the cool down. Is because after you start breeding them, you start putting the males. They start doing the business. They start building eggs and laying eggs. Most females will stop eating, or most geckos will eat a lot less. While they're building and laying the eggs, which is why I repeat the process of feeding them a lot plus the vitamin and calcium. It's all just to get them big, healthy, so they can lay as many eggs as they need to, that they can. And you want to make sure that the mom or female is going to be okay. It uses a lot of energy to produce the eggs. And your main focus should be the healthy manner of the mom. And the dad, of course, but the mom does the most work. If your mom's, a little bit on the skinnier side, you're excited to breed, you don't really blah, 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 just don't breed. You gotta wait. It's not worth it to put your mom at risk. She could very easily die. Even if she is healthy, 100% healthy and fine before, she could easily die by laying the eggs. And it's definitely more common in the geckos that have the less food and less vitamins and calcium powder. I don't know why my screen got so dark. There we go. So yeah, after that, like I said, they're eating, they're feeding again. I'm gonna put the male in with the female. I'm gonna watch them usually right away with me. The male will literally just go after the female. They know when it's time. The female will be receptive and everything will be fine. After I see the compilation, I literally take the male out, put it back in his home, and let the female chill for a little bit, maybe a couple more days, and then I'll put the male back in. I repeat this process till she starts laying eggs that are good and fertile. And once she starts laying the eggs that are fertile, I take the male out for the season and I let her lay all her eggs that she wants to lay, that she can lay, that she's going to lay that year, without the male interference. So once that male's in there 2 or 3 times, and I see compilation and she starts laying the eggs and they're good, you don't have to worry about putting the male in anymore. She'll keep that sperm, the eggs will keep getting fertile throughout the year, and she will be fine. Now, you can keep introducing the male as she's laying eggs to make sure all the eggs stay fertile, yada yada. I personally don't do that. I think Brian Barchak and a couple other people will keep their males in throughout the season just to, be on the safe side. I try not to do that. I just want the less stress as possible for the female gecko through her stressful time. Granted, I'm not saying that person or another person who does put the males in throughout the year is bad or they're doing something wrong. It's all personal preference. And that's one thing I guess to end this video I really wanted to say is this is just what works for me. Over about 7 or 8 years I've been breeding geckos. I tried a couple of different things, especially when I first started, but the last couple of years I've really been doing this method and I've had zero problems. Where I've had a couple of issues beforehand before I kind of did this little setup, how I do it now. So I guess I'm just gonna, go over the key points again, and you guys could hopefully have a successful year, like I have been for the most part since I've been doing it. You need the food. as much food as you can. Dubia roaches are really good. Superworms are really good. Mealworms are a real good staple. You can keep them in the cage the whole time. You don't gotta worry about them. They'll get eaten. After she has her food for a while, she's building up the vitamins and calcium. You pull the food out for about a week or so. Let her poop everything out, pee everything out. Pull the food out of the cage. You keep the water dish in. Cool them down about 10 degrees, 15 degrees, more if you want, less if you want. See what works best for you. After that month or so, she's cooled down. I wait about a week and I raise the temperature slowly. After they're all the way back up and I see that she's okay, I will start feeding her heavy again with the roaches and the crickets and the superworms and mealworms and the vitamin calcium powder. After about a week or so after that, she's eating fine. Maybe a little bit longer, I introduce the male. They start breeding. Do that for a couple of days. Putting the male in and out. A month later, after first conception, she should be laying her eggs. And then I pull the male out and I let the female do what she wants in her lay box. Usually, this right now is just a moist box, so it has peat moss. Usually, I'll do like cocoa fiber on the bottom and then peat moss on top, and then she'll lay her eggs in that. I guess one tip I can give you before I end this video is if you take your female, which you shouldn't be doing right now since I haven't cooled it down yet. This is gonna be really hard, but yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do it with her. She's a super interactive. But if you flip them over, pretty much here on the other side on their belly, a little bit like kind of I guess not really in the middle, more towards the vent, but you can see two little pink dots on each side on her belly. And that is her ovulation. So you can actually tell if they're ovulating or not. The first couple years I did, I always checked to see if I saw the little pink red dots. Sometimes you can't see them, sometimes you miss them. Last couple years, I've just been doing this process, putting the male in, not even checking to see if she's ovulating or anything. And I've had nothing but success. I'm assuming it's because, with the cool down period and the food and how much you're eating and the calcium and vitamin powder, plus, warming it back up, introducing the male. I'm assuming the female's bodies understand what's going on and, they start producing the eggs and everything. That was just a quick little tip. I'm not going to show you how to tell if it's male or female. I guess I can real quick, but, so she's female, and by her vent, she doesn't have any of the little black spots by her, where her pores are. If they were black, little bumpy spots, she'd be male, and you can see bulges under her tail. Female, they don't have any of those ventral spots. It's kind of go in a V by her vent. And she won't have two bulges under her tail. She'll just have like one flat one or like one little bulge. That's a female. That's not really the point of this video. Just a little tip I thought I would give you. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Shout out to my little model here. She's been amazing. And thanks guys for watching. Hope this helps. If you guys do something different or you think I do something completely wrong and it's harmful, please let me know in the comments. We're all learning together. If you, like I said, do something different, let me know how you do it. Maybe I could try it next year. Maybe it works better. I'm always just trying to improve, how I do things. So you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next video.